Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Travis, and today we're going to be listening to my first story, Hoku Haku, Confession. At least that's what the translation says. Yeah, the first song I listened to by them was I think it's Still Missing You, which I thought was a really good song. I do like this band. They're one of those softer spoken, kind of talks about heartbreak. Which I do like those songs actually. So normally I gravitate towards more intense, heavy songs, but I do like these softer songs as well, so let's get into it.
世界で一番愛した人だって何分の一すぐにダメになるかき集めたパズルは汚いなあでもねけどね信じてたいな多分バカな幸福論者だと笑ってる一人の僕君と僕の間にはどの未来図も当てはまりはしないのに踏み出せない一生一度の告白怖い怖い怖い一生一緒にいられるかな怖い怖い怖いそれでも愛が勝つの何度も愛が勝つのあなたが本気で好きだよ怖い怖い怖い会いたい世界中が僕の勇気を試すために与えた試練何度もほらくじけそうだよあでもねけどね立ち上がるんだいつも自分至上主義者な僕はいつの間にかいなくなった君と僕の間には何があるの時間が頭に流れて君が笑う一生一度の告白辛い辛い辛い一生一緒じゃないなら辛い辛い辛いそれでも愛が勝つの何度も愛が勝つの自分より大事なんて怖い怖い怖い会いたい愛され方愛し方も全部君が教えてくれたこと全部この胸の奥鳴り響いてる一生一度の告白怖い怖い怖い一生一緒にいられるから怖い怖い怖いそれでも愛が勝つの何度も愛が勝つのあなたが本気で好きだよ怖い怖い怖いわかるの
3年間ずっとあなたのことだけを考えて生きてきました。俺と付き合ってください。
Well, at least it had a good ending, right? The music video really did a phenomenal job at kind of laying down the groundwork of what the music video of what the music was about. You know, it seemed like these two were growing up together. You know, he had strong feelings towards her, but he didn't have the confidence to confess those feelings. As they, I guess, finished school, they both went into adulthood. You know, usually when you go into adulthood, you know, life takes you into many different directions. Of course, their paths diverged. You know, they started living their own life. He went into the working field. It seemed like she was studying for possibly college. She met somebody else. They didn't work out. On the very rare chance they crossed paths once again, and then he finally had the courage to confess at the end. You know, and it just goes to show that's one of those things that, you know, a lot of people's biggest fears are failure and rejection. You know, and the thing is if you have such a good relationship with this other person, you know, that fear of confessing your feelings, you worry that, you know, one, being rejection and it doesn't feel the same way, and two, the relationship never being the way it was. You know, if you're best friends and then you confess feelings, usually that changes the whole dynamic, and, you know, they feel the same way and it works out, or, you know, the relationship breaks down. A lot of people are scared to confess their feelings just because I want this person, but I don't want to lose what we have. I do like this band. This band seems to, from my experience, talks more about like love and relationships, stuff of that nature, which I do gravitate towards a lot. I like this band. I think the music video did amazing. His voice is just very soothing. You know, I could listen to him sing forever. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but let's try to do a lyric breakdown and try to understand. Even a person I loved most in the world became immediately useless. Collected puzzle is dirty. I don't really understand this, but in the context of love, I think of, or just friendship in a sense, you know, it's kind of, sometimes it can kind of be like a puzzle of making things work. You guys are two separate people, perceive the world differently, you guys just operate a lot differently. One person may like one thing, one person may like the other thing, and, you know, it's like a puzzle to kind of keep the peace and keep both people happy, keep it a healthy relationship or friendship in a sense. But I want to believe me, probably laughing at me as a stupid happiness theorist. As a stupid happiness theorist, it gives me the idea of when he was kind of reflecting on her, he was thinking about her, he was probably in his mind, he was thinking about the life that he was seeing with her, imagining she felt the same way in the life that they could have possibly lived, growing old together, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the happiness theorist. He was probably theorizing that in his head, that that's how life was going to be, but then he never had the courage to confess and to give it a chance. So he was probably just laughing at himself, thinking that he was ever going to live the life, that happiness that he was theorizing he was going to have with her. Even though any future doesn't fit with you and me, I can't take the step forward. That's how I would say that. This sounds like a complete 180. He was just a happiness theorist, and then he's saying any future doesn't fit with you and me. Any future doesn't fit with you and me makes me think that he understands this is probably after they went their separate ways and he, you know, she walked away in the classroom. He realized, like, that was my chance and now she's gone. You know, this is when our paths diverge. So it kind of gives me the idea that he's kind of come to terms with the fact that they're going to go their separate ways in life and he has forever lost her. It's really depressing when you think about it. You know, even regardless of how scary it might be, and rejection is never fun. But you have to understand that the possibility of rejection is always there. And when you look back on your life, you're going to hate yourself so much more by not taking the chance of confessing, as opposed to confessing, taking that chance, and you know what? Maybe they feel the same way. Maybe life works out for you. Maybe you're in a different place in life, you know? I think you'll hate yourself so much more by not taking that chance. Confessing my love once in a lifetime. Afraid, afraid, afraid. I wonder if I can be with you forever. Afraid, afraid, afraid. Still love wins again and again. I love you seriously. Afraid, afraid, afraid. I want to see you. See, and this is where his happiness theories comes right back in. Yeah, confessing your love is scary, man, because that is when you're most vulnerable. I don't exactly know how the culture in Japan is, for example. From my very limited knowledge, it seems like confessing your feelings for somebody seems to be one of those very rare occurrences in Japan. From my understanding, usually when people like each other, they go out on what is it like when they have 3 dates, kind of a thing. But like confessing your feelings when you're in school doesn't seem to be like it's a very rare thing from my knowledge. So you guys will have to let me know how the cultural differences are. I know culturally here, men are usually raised to not really show their feelings, not really be vulnerable. So to kind of confess your feelings, that's when you're your most vulnerable. And that kind of almost kind of goes against everything you were kind of raised to believe. Now, of course, culture changes, but I don't think really many men really want to allow themselves to feel that pain if it's not mutual. You know what I mean? Men really kind of keep their feelings inside, so if we go through heartbreak, we don't really let others know about it and we just suffer in silence. So it's rough. So I understand confessing your love once in a lifetime, like that's scary. Still love wins again. I love you seriously. I want to see you. He knows how he feels about this girl. He grew up with. Well, I don't know if he grew up with her necessarily. It seemed like he might have grown up with her, but they were showing side by sides of them kind of, at the same age with each other. So it leads me to believe that they kind of grew up together. She was like a childhood friend. Yeah, if that's the case, they have a lot of history. I almost gave up the trials as if the whole world gave me in order to test my courage. A lot of people, like, especially in school, oh, I really like that girl. Like, it's just like in real life. It's just like in adulthood. Like, just like in school, you want to confess your feelings for a girl, but you're so scared she'll make fun of you or she won't like you. Just like in adulthood, you really want to pursue this career or this job, or you want to do this hobby, and you're so worried about failing or falling on your face or not meeting your own expectations or the expectations set upon you. The fear of failure, the courage in this example to take that test or that leap stops you before even trying. So it's definitely one of those trials that we go through throughout all of our life. But now I stand up, my egoism was gone before I knew it. I'm trying to understand how he might have kind of an ego. Maybe in the sense of not allowing himself to be vulnerable and to cry. It seemed like I'm thinking of towards the very end of the video where he opened up his true feelings. He allowed himself to be vulnerable. He allowed himself to cry. I'm thinking that's when he dropped the ego and he allowed himself to show her his true feelings. What is there between you and me? Time flows in my head and then you laugh. Confessing my love once in a lifetime. Hard, hard, hard. It's hard for me that if you won't be with me forever. Hard, hard, hard. Still love wins again and again. More important thing than me. Afraid, afraid, afraid. I want to see you. Maybe he is saying that more important than my own feelings in this is my feelings of wanting to see you. It seems like he's maybe putting herself before him. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to get the exact context, but I feel like when love is involved, when you love somebody, you tend to put them before yourself. So I feel like it wouldn't be a stretch to say that. Everything, how to love, everything that you told me, everything is ringing in my mind. Confessing my love once in a lifetime, afraid, afraid, afraid. I wonder if I can be with you forever. Yeah, so generally it seems like they grew up together. He had this feeling of, happiness theorist. He was a happiness theorist, meaning he was seeing this life that he could have lived with her, but life gave him a trial to test his courage to confess. He failed that test, which is when you kind of seen them go their separate ways, into adulthood, living their life. Somehow, by some miracle, now this generally doesn't happen in the real world, but in this, they cross paths once again, And then I feel like once they crossed paths and they came back together, he let his ego go and he was able to open up and bare his heart and soul and really let her know how he felt about her. He confessed his love and, you know, his once in a lifetime love, which is her. And that's, I think, when at the end you seen them crying and he was saying what he was saying, that he loved her and probably went to be with her. And I imagine she felt similar because she was in tears as well. So I imagine this was probably just two people, maybe have had a mutual feelings towards one another, but were probably hoping the other one would confess those feelings, and neither did. Generally, the man has to do that, but he failed that test of having the courage to do that. But at the end, it was a happy ending because he was able to confess his feelings, and, you know, it all worked out. I hope, but it leads me to believe that it was a good ending. They lived that happiness theorist life that he imagined, and, you know, they lived happy ever after. So good song. I really like this band. Like I said, he has an amazing voice. I think his music videos really do a great job at expressing what the intent of the song was. So I enjoyed the music video. I mean, I can understand the lyrics because confessing your love. I imagine most of us maybe not have confessed our love, but have loved somebody in a similar way. So it's very relatable, the lyrics, and it's just overall, it's a great song. I'm glad I discovered this band. Great band. Hopefully, I did the lyrics justice. It's been a minute since I've done a lyric breakdown. I wanted to get ahead. I wanted to make time to practice my Japanese, and doing a lyric breakdown for every video was just, it's exhausting. So try to do maybe two lyric breakdowns a week or something along those lines. But yeah, hopefully I did the lyrics justice. Let me know how you interpret that. Let me know the things I'm right about, the things I'm wrong about. Let me know how confessing feelings is in Japan. I'm curious. You know, definitely recommend some more music in the comments if there are artists that I haven't reacted to that you might want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.